So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. Tonight, I'm joined by two members from the band Angelica and The Crooked Path, and we're here to talk about this new band and their music. So, first of all, uh, uh, good afternoon, where you are. How are you today?
We are good.
Yeah, we're good. We're in Asheville, North Carolina, in the U.S., and it is currently very gray and rainy.
We're getting a little bit of the tropical storm.
Oh,
we are also on a couch. We are on a couch with our dog Mo, who may or may not wander in and out of the frame. If you could see him.
okay, yeah, that's a nice looking dog. Today I'm not on the couch, so but I have my logo. So for people that don't know you, let me know who you are and what you do in the band.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Esme. I use she and they pronouns, and I am the vocalist for Angelica and the Crooked Path.
I'm Ursula. I use they them pronouns, and I play guitar.
Awesome. So so the music of this band, there's like kind of doom, but you you name it like a doom with some pop. Tell me a little bit about the inspiration for the sound of the band.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take that one. Yeah. So it's actually kind of funny. I've been a metal head for a long time. Esme and I have been good friends for like 8 years, a long time. But Esme is a trained singer, and we never figured out a way to take her singing and my metal and put them together until very recently. We actually started by trying to start a dream pop or shoegaze band. Mm-hmm. And then every time I picked up my guitar, I just ended up writing metal riffs. So we decided to go in this other direction and take some of those influences from the hazy dream pop world and apply it to a much heavier sound. So that's sort of where our sound came from.
So we've got members of the band who've been super active in the heavy music scene for a really long time, and then I'm a bit of an interloper, just sneaking in here and hopefully bringing a little bit of a new flavor to this space.
Yeah, they always call this type of sound like doom gaze.
Yeah,
which is doom with shoegaze influences. So how did the band get together? Because I knew it was recently, like last year, or it's very recent, right?
Yeah. So our drummer and myself have been playing together for over a decade. We were in a very fast hardcore band back in the day, and so yeah, we met Jerry, our bassist, here in Asheville, and we started jamming with them. I started jamming with them, and then like I said, we had the idea to start shoegaze band or a dream pop band, and then it just sort of morphed into Angelica and the Crooked Path.
And is there a story with the name? Why Angelica?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a joke between Ursula and I that we've always loved blank and the blank names for bands. I just always get a kick out of the Hootie and the Blowfish or
Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
Yeah, there was just a long time whenever
with Hootie and the Blowfish. At first, I thought his name was Hootie.
So whenever we would come across a band with a blank and the blank name, it was just sort of a little joke between us. It would be like, we found another one. So when we were looking into naming this band, we were pitching a lot of things. I think there's sort of a little bit of a trend right now, maybe in heavier music scene, to have sort of a punchy one word band name. So we were playing around with several of those. And then we were also, we just sort of liked that this was a little bit clunky and a little bit different in this genre, to have something that's a little bit longer and doesn't roll off the tongue quite as easily. But the Crooked Path comes from the idea of there being sort of these two trains of thought with magic, of kind of black magic that deals in curses and sort of like more stereotypically evil energy, and then a more like benevolent witchcraft, and the Crooked Path being a type of witchcraft that sort of like balances both or walks both paths. And then I think Angelica just sounded nice.
Well, Angelica is a reference to the poisonous herb Angelica archangelica, which we were looking at that poisonous herb book when we named the band.
I'm not sure. I don't think it's actually, that one is actually necessarily poisonous.
Okay.
Angelica is like a family of plants.
Gotcha. Well, it's a name of an herb. We were looking at herb books, and you'll notice that throughout our lyrics and a lot of things, there's a lot of references to herbs and flowers and things like that.
Oh yeah, especially on Creatures of Spring and Lily, both of the two songs that you have right now. So I know that I think you released Lily first and then Creatures of the Spring. So we can talk about both. Tell me a little. Let's talk about Lily, the first one that you released.
Sure.
So Lily is sort of built around this really catchy riff that Ursula wrote. That we wanted to feature in a more traditional, I guess, doomy song.
Yeah.
And then the lyrics came together. I think we had recently watched The Love Witch, and I was just sort of in the mind space of poisoning someone, and just wrote some fun lyrics based on that. And so that's sort of how we put the two together. Definitely not a song with like super deep meaning.
That is fun for the person, except the person who's being poisoned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit more about?
Yeah. So that we made the choice, and we'll talk about this a little bit more when we get to Creatures, but we made the choice to debut our band with two songs that were very different. And the point of doing that was to sort of frame out where we're going to be, what space we're going to live in. And Lily being the first one, the goal of that was to appeal to who we think our audience is mostly going to be, which is like doom and stoner rock, people who are into that kind of music. So Lily is very much a doom song, but it also follows the pattern of like a pop song. It has a verse and a very catchy chorus and a bridge and a solo and all that stuff that you often find in pop music. And we wanted to do that very without being ashamed if that's what we're doing. We're trying to make a song that is both heavy and very catchy. And that was the point of Lily, was to try to get our hooks in some people by using melody and heaviness.
And I'm a huge pop music girly, so definitely like, you know, Britney Spears, Chappell Roan, like these are people who are big musical influences for me in a way that, you know, I'm not ashamed of. I love the pop girls. So we wanted to throw the pop girls a little metal moment, you know.
Nice. And Esme, like when you guys are writing lyrics, what is the process of like when you're writing the lyrics?
So we both write lyrics for the two songs that are out. I just happen to be the one who wrote the lyrics for those. I like to write my lyrics in the bath with a glass of wine and a stack of books for inspiration. So I think for Lily, I was just pawing through a couple of books that I have on herbalisms and herbalism and poisons. And just getting out a really messy rough draft of just like particular plants that I'm being drawn to, or little phrases that I think have a good ring to it. And then I sort of come to Ursula with this mishmash hodgepodge of nonsense, and we comb through and find the lines that we want to keep. And then sort of she's great. They are great at identifying vocal patterns based on the instrumentals that were written out. So we sort of sat down with the instrumentals and just sort of played around with it.
Yeah, I used to do vocals in bands where I was just screaming. And so I developed a skill set of finding patterns of vocal patterns, but I can't do melodies. And Esme has the ability to sit with a piano and like find good pitches and really bring the patterns to life by adding melodic information. So I think it's a really cool, like, collaborative process.
So
And
maybe
as
also
Ursula
like a contrast between like the beauty and the doomier gaze.
Yeah, I think we're good writing partners both because of that lengthy sort of shared friendship that Ursula mentioned.
But we have even though we're both huge music nerds, we came at it from very different places. And that contrast is very apparent in this band, I think.
No, yeah, but it also can make the band, stand apart with those influences. So the other song being Creatures of Spring, and I think that one has more of it's a more, sometimes more heavy than the other one. Tell me a little bit about Creatures of Spring.
Sure. Creatures of Spring is a slow burn. The first three and a half minutes are very minimal.
Very doom. Yeah.
Musically, they're minimal, and then it's obviously very vocally centered. The main riff of that song is very like folkish and sort of inspired by post-rock music, like Tortoise is a band that I really like that sort of inspires my guitar playing. Very minimalist. And I'll let you talk about the lyrics, but we were trying to show two different sides. So whereas Lily has that pop structure and is very heavy, Creatures of Spring is definitely not a pop structure. It's more of a challenging song to listen to, because you've got to sit through 3.5 minutes of build up. But then if you do, we think the payoff is worth it because it gets very heavy and cool at the end.
Yeah, that's like the slow doom. Doom takes its time for the build up.
Right. You want to talk about the lyrics a little bit?
Sure. So as I mentioned, my lyrics are very inspired by books and movies that resonate with me. And I recently rewatched Death Becomes Her, which is a 1992.
Yeah, I was reading that there was for that one you were inspired by Elizabeth Bathory. Oh, anyone who knows, she killed a lot of people. I think it was in Europe, and yeah, I saw Death Becomes Her. It's getting a remake.
I sure hope so. I love that movie, and I would watch any iteration of that concept. But I rewatched it, and it resonated a lot more with me than it had in the past. I just turned 28, which I know is not super old, but it's a weird age. I have back pain, but I also still have acne, and it's like this weird moment of like
you're in your 40s.
But it's this weird moment where you're just like, I started to feel, the aches and pains of
it's
real.
Like you're not young, but you're not old.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think it resonated with me starting to have some of those like aging feelings. Mm-hmm. And then I think probably for a lot of feminists, but for me, inside you, there are two wolves. One who's like, we need to stop striving towards these really white supremacist, fat phobic, misogynistic beauty standards. We don't need them. They are not serving us. And then the other one that's like, well, that's true for everyone else, but like, I still need to be pretty. That's still an expectation. Like conventional attractiveness is still an expectation I hold for myself. So I think that, that movie, even though it's silly, it's very campy, I think it deals in a very interesting way with like
it's with Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn and Bruce Willis
and Isabella Rossellini.
Was that movie too? That's right.
Yeah, and it just, I think that this idea of this incredibly drop dead, gorgeous, nearly naked 80-year-old offering you a magic potion for eternal youth with maybe some questionable strings attached. I'm at a moment in my life where I'm like,
there's always a but.
You
will live young, but
yeah.
Yeah. I feel the remake is going to, I don't know, I think I read somewhere that Kate Hudson is going to do her mom's part, which would be cool.
That is cool. That's awesome.
And the movie, there's a moment that I love, based on what you guys were just saying. There's a moment in the movie that I love so much where right after she takes the potion, the person who gave her the potion goes, "And now a warning." And she goes, "Now? Now a warning?"
It's such a good line read too. The like, now a warning.
After she'd already taken it.
So yeah, there's one line in the movie where Isabella Rossellini says to Meryl Streep, "We are creatures of the spring, you and I." And I just really loved that line. So that's sort of the line that the whole song was lyrically written around.
Nice. I wonder, do you like The Craft? Because that's another great movie from the 90s from Witchcraft, which I heard they were remaking. And I'm like, no, I don't. That one's too. I don't know. That one does not deserve a remake because they'll probably remake it with like today's like stuff, and I don't know. They're gonna change it. I thought it was great in the 90s. So do you like that one too?
Oh yeah.
Yes. I think aesthetically too, that movie, just yeah, the way that they dress, I think.
Yeah, and actually,
Always both of us.
yeah, I think Farusha Abod, the lead actress, was actually a practicing Wiccan. So it gave the role more of like an authenticity
Yeah.
to it. Yeah, and that movie had a great soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Movie had a
Yeah,
great soundtrack. Yeah.
any of those like 90s witch movies, we're all about it.
Oh yeah.
I think that's one of our like, I think that's what the ability to start a metal band kind of grew out of, was Esme and I's shared love of like campy horror, or like horror that doesn't take itself super seriously, and can still be fun.
I think, if you're writing a metal/pop song about poisoning your lover, I think that is like very rooted in that sort of aesthetic sensibility.
Yeah.
Well, there's I don't know if you ever heard the Birthday Massacre, but they have a song instead of like poisoning, he just says suffocate your lover. So yeah, they're from Canada and they make some weird stuff if you haven't checked them out. So you have the two songs. So what's now what is the what are you working on, like to have like a full album? What's next for Angelica and the Crooked Path?
So the next goal is both to develop a live set. We still haven't performed anything live. I think we're working maybe a bit backwards off of what some other folks might do, which is, perform live and then choose the best material to record. But we really were thinking of these two songs as sort of a proof of concept that we wanted to see through to sort of the end of the road. And after it was so fun to make and it seemed to resonate with folks, we were like, okay, like there's something here. So yeah, we're working right now on developing a live set, and then hopefully from there putting out an EP, either at the end of the year or the beginning of next year.
Yeah, our drummer is remote, lives I almost said 4 years.
lives 4 years into the future.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, he's seen the future.
He lives a 4-hour drive away, so it's a little bit more difficult for us to do live rehearsals, and we do a lot of our writing through trading audio files. So that's the only reason we have, like, every other band I've ever been in has been live first focused, but just the realities of having a remote drummer has forced us into writing and recording before we go live. But I think in the end, it's going to be great because we are going to be so prepared and our live show is going to be so tight. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Both Ursula and I are perfectionists, I would say. Well, I think all of us are in some ways. We're a band of very opinionated and perfectionists. So I think we won't be happy to get on stage until we feel really good about the kind of show that we're going to put on.
So you're just getting the word out. People like can hear the band. So probably by next year, probably people can catch the band live.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
We're gonna try to, like Esme said, we're trying to get an EP. I actually talked to our producer earlier today and confirmed that he was available this fall for us to start trying to track an EP, and then the goal would be hopefully to track and release a full length next year as well. We have tons of material. We just have to develop it and get it recorded. And on the subject of our producer, I just want to, every time that we have an opportunity, I want to shout out Dave Kaminsky at Studio Wormwood here in the Asheville area. This band wouldn't exist without Dave. And what he did in terms of production on our singles, I mean, we got so much positive feedback just about the way the song sounded. And that was all Dave. And I just want to give him his props, give him his credit there. But yeah, so we talked to him earlier today about trying to get in the studio this fall.
Yeah, it has a cool sound. It has like a retro vibe to it as well. Like and the mixing of the doom with the pop, I think it works. So anything you like to say to the people before we go on what to expect, or obviously where can they follow you on the socials?
Yes, so we are at Angelica Doom on Instagram and TikTok, and
I'd say Instagram is our most active platform currently. And yeah, it's at Angelica Doom. And then you can find all of our other ones from Instagram if you need to.
Awesome.
And I think that the people can look forward to more of what we already gave you. But we haven't mentioned that yet, but we're a group of very political people. So some of our upcoming material is going to have a bit more of a political focus. Still going to be giving you vibes, but vibes that are maybe a little bit more grounded in
the Lord knows
that
the politics in the USA.
Yeah, we're not a big fan of what's going on over here. So
I'm in Puerto Rico, but you know what? No matter what happens, I'm fucked. Because we're a colony and we can't vote for anyone.
Yeah, it's fucked up. I hate that.
Yeah, well,
we can vote for people here, but not over there.
Yeah.
Well, we're an anarchist band, so you're not going to hear us telling anybody to vote for either of the colonizers in chief. But we're going to have some things to say, I think, on our EP that I'm excited to share.
Yeah, I think for people that say like, oh, don't mix politics and music, you clearly haven't heard rock and roll. Like it all started like in the 60s, there was protest music. And I'm still surprised by people that are amazed that Rage Against the Machine, I'm like, they're political? Who the fuck do you think they were raging against? The dishwasher?
Yeah.
Yeah, it still baffles me. But yeah, I can't wait to hear the new stuff. I like the band, so I'll post the link for people who wanna follow the band on Instagram. Are you on Bandcamp as well?
Yes, we're on Bandcamp.
And I'll put Bandcamp for people who want to stream or buy the singles or anything. So So I want to thank both Esme and Ursula for taking some time of their afternoon to chat with me here from their couch to my couch here in Puerto Rico to talk about Angelica and the Crooked Path. So people, couchers, until next time, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.